Hello.
Hello.
They're very hot, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And water.
Well, they took away our whiskey and cigarettes, so we're gonna do our best.
Yeah. We got this, team.
These instructions, they say that we've been working on this panel for a while.
Yeah.
Not true.
So what's up, everybody?
Hello.
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 Hey, I mean, it's 7 o'clock, right?
Yeah, we can start. Go for
It's
it.
time to go.
Yeah.
Go.
So we are the Treeskull team. We have a YouTube channel called Treeskull. We make videos about video games. We usually tie them into real life and make plenty of dick jokes along the way. It's a lot of fun. And I am Grant. If you've watched our videos, you've probably seen my face. I also write and edit for the channel, as well as these guys also all write and edit. I'm sorry.
You all right?
This water went.
It's because you don't have the whiskey, dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the problem.
We asked if we could drink and they said no. So
We get cigarettes and whiskey to the stage.
Yeah, but yeah, let's introduce ourselves.
Okay.
Before.
Hi, I'm Mike. I do everything that Grant does except show my face on the channel. I am a latter addition to the team. I came in about 2 years into it. So I think the first video that I did on the channel was Kirby in a nutshell.
yeah.
Yep.
So that if you're a big fan, that'll give you a time. And then the first video I did personally was Earthbound, the story you never knew. Yeah, I wrote and edited that one. Yeah.
So I'm Ryan. I write, I edit, I have my face on there sometimes. I, slap music on some of the videos. A little bit of everything there. And yeah, Grant, Tyler, and I started the channel. Mike came on later, and that's kind of the main reason why this is called How to Be a Non-Traditional YouTuber, because
I'm non-traditional.
Yeah, it's very, very non-traditional. And yeah, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Tyler. I am the ultimate behind-the-scenes guy. Almost nobody has seen my face except for you. So
He's mysterious.
congratulations. Unless you come to our streams, I do our streams. So the only people who know me are the people who know me on Twitch. But I also do a good amount of the writing and editing and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, thanks for coming, everybody. So as you know, today we're going to be talking about how to be a non-traditional YouTuber. And really what that means is like when a lot of people think making YouTube content, they'll often think of like Let's Plays, video game commentary, podcasts. Markiplier, yeah, like kind of things that are really big and the genres are very fleshed out, but kind of what we do, it's a little bit weirder, and we're going to talk about
weirder.
like, yeah,
definitely
we're definitely
weirder.
a lot weirder.
I can't tell you all about it.
And so yeah, we're going to talk about like how to express yourself in your own beautiful snowflake way and maybe make a living doing that along the way.
Yeah.
And we'll be taking questions. We're going to kind of tell our story a little bit everybody's story is different, right? And so maybe this will kind of resonate with you. And then afterwards we'll take questions if there are any.
And tips and tricks, most important things, et cetera, et cetera. So generally, when people first get into YouTube, right, as a viewer, they find a YouTuber that they love, and they're like, I want to do that, because that's the best thing about YouTube. You look at it, and it's just normal people who have created this studio and are just making these wild videos. For me, it was JonTron back in the day, around like 2011, 2012. I watched JonTron, I watched AVGN, and I was like, I want to do that. And I think everybody has that guy. So
yeah,
then,
for me, it was Rooster Teeth.
yes, Rooster Teeth. Did you guys have a guy or lady?
I just always loved making videos for no particular reason, so I was just like, I like video games, let's make some videos.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you were an AV nerd. I forgot about that.
Grant's non-traditional even in the non-traditional.
Yeah. So generally, what you do after that is you go and you get some equipment. You get a crappy microphone, you get a crappy webcam. Maybe a capture card if you're like, yeah, I'm really gonna do this, and then you start from nowhere. Which when I started, I had no experience video editing, filming, capturing footage for video games or anything like that. And my first video that I decided to do that wasn't a Let's Play took me over 120 hours to edit, and it was about 12 minutes long. Because I wanted it to look good, and it
Turns
doesn't.
out editing's really hard.
Yeah.
When you first start out, because it's the same thing when we first started out. A minute of footage would take us 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah.
And Our editing's way better now. It was really bad then still.
You learn very quickly that it's not just like, hey, I sat in front of a camera and here it's on YouTube. Like it just doesn't work like that really.
That being said, this is my first piece of practical advice to you all. If you want to start doing YouTube, start. Don't worry about how good the quality is. Don't worry about, oh, like this sucks, this could be better. Like obviously, you know, you want to do your best to make it as good as it can be for your current skill level, but start, release a video, and then go from there. Like, and obviously, once you actually put the video on YouTube, you wanna, what we did was we found a bunch of subreddits that were relevant to what we covered. For instance, our first video that really blew up was Samus Aran, the story you never knew. So we just made the video, I wrote the script, did the voiceover, we did the editing, and then once it was done, we're like, oh hey, let's find a Metroid subreddit. Let's post it there. There's a Samus subreddit, we'll post it there. And then we found like all these weird other little forums just around the internet, and we just kind of like posted it everywhere. And it got enough views to where it got some traction, where the YouTube algorithm was like, oh hey.
People
like,
are interested.
Yeah, people are interested in this, and then obviously like the video was good enough to keep people's attention, so the algorithm was like, all right, we're gonna start promoting it a little bit. And then it kind of like snowballs from there. So yeah, and then obviously we just increased the quality, got better, and kind of grew with our content.
What year was that?
That was 2014.
2014.
Wait, I think we came up with the idea in 2013, like at the very end.
Yeah, so I guess a little timeline for you all. Tyler and I've known him since kindergarten.
We are literally a married couple, but we're estranged.
So we started a couple channels.
He left me for Grant, is what happened.
Oh man, it's bad.
You guys are just in a long distance relationship.
Grant's better than bad.
So we started a couple channels before this one. They all didn't work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
You can still find some like really bad Let's Plays.
We're not going to go into that.
And that's another side that I wanted to add to Grant. Don't get super attached to your first channel because you're going to ruin it. Okay, just seriously, like don't get super duper attached to it. Use that as practice.
It's a learning ground. It's and then you figure out what you're doing, and Treesicle, we have made so many mistakes on. But our new anime channel, Paw Inside Pop, is going so well because we actually know what we're doing now.
Yes.
So when we started Treesicle, it was supposed to be a Let's Play channel.
Yeah.
Like a lot of content creators start, it was like, we can just film ourselves playing video games and that's great. 3 months in, we had 37 subscribers.
Nobody cared.
36 of those were us, our second accounts, our third accounts, and
I think my mom
anybody
joined.
that we could talk
Tyler's
to
dad.
and say.
Yeah, my dad definitely joined.
So then we were like, okay, this isn't going how we wanted. And then we tried the story you never knew, and then that worked, and that actually went somewhere. And so then we started doing more scripted videos, and 6 months after that, we found that we had really hit something with this edited, scripted type of video. And then we had 10,000 subscribers, and then it just kept snowballing. And it was a crazy cool experience.
Yeah, but Ryan, it's 2020, man. That's like a boomer story, dude.
No, that
doesn't happen anymore.
And that's what I'm saying. So we started with the three of us started in college with one of our other roommates, Kevin.
Yeah.
Back in 2016 or 17, Kevin decided to do his own thing. And so then it was just the three of us, and at around the same time, Mike actually reached out to us and said, hey, I'm interested. I'm an aspiring YouTuber. He showed us the video that he mentioned that he worked 120 hours on. I have this experience. I've been working all on my back end, doing on my own channel.
Yeah, he had his own channel, Death Mountaineers, that had 2,000
don't tell him the name.
Yeah.
No, go check it out. He has a video where he gets a Sonic tattoo while playing a video game. It's great.
That's true.
Yeah, he has a Sonic
really
tattoo,
good.
everybody.
I have a Sonic
He's
tattoo.
a real gamer.
It's on my... You're not going to be able to see it, but it's right here, front and center. So if you catch me on the con, it says, gotta go fast.
That's how we knew. That's how we knew we had to bring him on.
Yeah, and on that day he joined the team full time. But yeah, I go into that part because that's
Sonic
the
tattoo?
real no. How you started talking to us, because that's the real story of how to be like you became a full-time YouTuber
Right.
through a different avenue, because we kind of got I don't want to say we got lucky because it took a lot of time and effort to get here.
Yeah.
But you were able to, like, you started working, you impressed the crap out of us, and then now you work like you're an equal. Like you're right here with us, buddy.
I mean,
you host your own channel, right?
Yeah. He's the host of our other channel now.
Yeah. Bonsai Pop, our anime channel, just hit 100,000 subscribers in 10 months. So it was very exciting for that.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. But yeah, so when I started, I was working really hard. I was working 40 hours a week at a kitchen job at a barcade. That was dope. Free drinks. Really nice.
Very nice.
And then I'd go home drunk and edit for hours and hours and hours and wake up at like 12 o'clock in the afternoon and do the whole thing over and over and over again. I was working probably 80 hours a week to get my own content out and maintain an apartment and my car insurance and all sorts of stuff like that. It was really difficult, but it was what I wanted to do. So I had that first step down, to just do it. Mm-hmm. But what happened is that YouTube changed its rules a year into what I was doing. And the rule used to be that if you had 100 subscribers, you could just get monetized. It was
just like
no
a
problem.
forum. You were like, hey, can I monetize? No, yeah, why not?
And then one day they were like, okay, now you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time.
Because we can't trust anybody on the platform anymore.
So that was super intimidating. Because I was just about to hit 1,000 subscribers. But the thing about subscribers is, and everybody looks at subs, like Treesicle, for example, we have 950,000 subscribers about right now. That means nothing at all. The only thing that matters is views and watch time, period. So I'm sure you've seen channels that have millions and millions of subscribers, and they're getting somewhere between 50 to 150,000 views. When you look at the percentage of their audience that is, it's really bad. They should be getting...
Yeah, even people like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye, like their views to their audience is like
6%.
Yeah, it's tiny.
It's super tiny. I mean, they're raking it in.
Yeah,
but the percentage of their viewership is very small. They're having a good time.
Yeah, I know.
We should go over there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
we'll yell back at the end.
Yeah, exactly. So what happened is I had one video that popped off and had 25,000 views, and that was my 4,000 hours of watch time. That was it. Because I had 1,000 subs, and I knew, and when that's the case, you're usually getting about 300 views a video, and if you're getting 300 views a video at 1,000 subs, you're doing really good. So if that's you out there, like, you're killing it, because that's almost half of your subscription base that's watching your videos, and YouTube likes that. But I knew that I was going to lose my monetization when the year rolled around if I didn't have another hit or if I didn't do something else. And that's when I decided that I was going to do something that I had never done before and talk to people. And that is the absolute most important thing that you can possibly do when trying to start a career in entertainment, period. Because unlike 2010 to about 2015, YouTube has changed, the landscape has changed, and the community of YouTube has changed, and it is very Hollywood now. It's not so much of a grow it at home and like be your own guy and
it's
like
definitely harder to grow it at home.
It's much harder.
Yeah.
But with that being said, it's still doable. And
yeah,
I would highly recommend it. It's a fun outlet for all of us creatively, and the fact that we get to do it for a job is we're blessed. Like it's amazing.
But it's complicated.
By the way, are we doing questions throughout?
Yeah. We'll take a question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how YouTube is starting to take away monetization?
Sure. The question was, how is YouTube starting to take away monetization? I think we would all love to know the answer of that. So there's definitely, I'm gonna have to like fly through this really quickly and add in anything. Yeah. So there's an issue going on with a law called COPPA right now that has to do with not selling advertisements that are targeted towards children. So there are issues where content that is specifically made for kids, so think of like Sesame Street, they're going to be losing all their targeted ads, and they're going to be losing their comments section, and they're going to be losing what?
Notifications, you don't get that. You lose searchability. So like the only way to find those videos is if you go to the actual channel and then go to the video page. That's pretty much it.
Without targeted ads, that's 90% of your ad revenue.
Yeah, if you don't have targeted ads, you're basically not making money.
Yeah, basically if you're making kids content, you're kind of screwed right now. Also on top of that, I mean, this has been happening since 2017, but like if you swear a lot, if you're like have more adult humor, the algorithms will find you and you will probably get demonetized, and if not overtly demonetized, you will get less ads on each of your videos and just make less money in general.
If you drop more than one F-bomb in a video, just expect your money to get cut in half on that video.
So those are kind of like the basics of demonetization. But you know, back to the
we
topic at hand.
We could do a 5-hour lecture on demonetization.
Yeah,
So,
we got when demonetization first started happening and everybody was being like, "Oh my God, yellow signs." We did 15 videos over the course of 3-4 months, something like that. 12 out of the 15 got hit.
Yeah.
So we got hit real hard.
Yeah. You can see the graph. It just goes.
And honestly, like our CPM has never recovered from that.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, I mean, we can talk about that all day.
Yeah. Also, if you have questions,
come up to us at the end.
Email us. Come up to us at the end. Like in-depth questions like that, I'd love to answer them. I'm sure.
Yeah, we have a lot to say on it.
Yeah, if you are trying to make it on YouTube, like it's easier if you swear less, but also aren't a kids channel. So
don't be a kids channel.
Keep that in mind. Ride that line.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, and Mike was talking about like how he made it. I mean, did you want to like continue that story?
Yeah. So I was talking about communication. So if you have that guy that you watch and you're like, I want to be that guy, try talking to that guy, because there's a chance that he or she may actually reach back out to you, especially if you have something to offer in the way of skill or talent or time. You know, it's like we all need help, especially when we get to a certain point. We generally, because one YouTube channel does great. If you have 5, it does much better. You know, you start to multiply the money that's coming in. 1 to 3 people can't run 5 YouTube channels at a time. You start needing editors. You need people that are better with sound. You need graphic designers. You need all sorts of stuff like that. Like you can start a career in YouTube as a graphic designer, working for somebody else, making graphics, and learning the back end of YouTube through what I call a guru. And that's the best person to have. And that's what these guys ended up for me, because when I started like hanging out with them and really learning about YouTube, I was like, no wonder I wasn't going anywhere. Like I was doing
we looked at you and we were
wrong.
like, your thumbnails suck, dude.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
The titles suck too. Like, you know, like there is, you know, I mean, YouTube is it's a lot of marketing with entertainment, and you have to know the ins and outs of that, and some of it is restricting. But once you get it, it's like we said with Bonsai Pop, after 5 years of struggling with one channel, we started another, and in 10 months, we got it to 100,000 subscribers, which it took me 2 years to get to 2,000 on my personal channel. You need to learn YouTube. It is a business. It is a puzzle.
It's unfortunately not just fun and games.
Yeah.
But it's what we all want it to be.
So kind of to continue what you're saying.
Yeah.
So Mike, over the course of those 2 years, worked his butt off on his own personal channel. Like it went 2,000 subscribers is amazing.
It's still not something
that's
to laugh
not
at.
something to laugh at. That's really good. But it wasn't at the point that he was able to make a living. It wasn't at the point that he was.
I couldn't sustain it.
Yeah, he couldn't sustain that.
I didn't have the time.
And so what ended up happening was he reached out to Grant, and him and Grant started talking, and he was just like, hey, I have a YouTube channel, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Like,
Well, I
do you
asked
have
for help.
tips?
Or he asked for help.
I asked for help. I wasn't like, bro, check out my YouTube
Oh,
channel,
sick,
dude. We get that probably like 10 times a day.
Don't
sub for
tell
sub,
people to
dude.
check it out.
Don't ever message anybody and go, hey, because that's the worst. I miss people's Twitter DMs because I have 25 that just say, hey.
Yeah, like he sent a very authentic message that like I don't remember the exact words, but it was like concise, but also like I could tell he was talking to me. Like this wasn't like a mass email. I could tell he had really watched our content and like respected what we did and was just asking for some advice. And like here's like I think you sent a link or something, and then I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. And I really liked what he did.
And then you watched the wrong video. As your Grant. He watched a video with my girlfriend in it.
No,
it was
watched
her
two,
video.
I watched 2 videos, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you watched both with Devin. Devin was on the channel.
I don't even remember what I watched, dude, but it was good enough to where I was like, this guy, we should bring him on board and see what he could do. And so yeah, like, you know, it's not only what you know, but also who you know. So don't be afraid to get social.
If you don't know him, reach out.
So in Mike's case specifically, we weren't like, he just straight up asked, he said, hey, I've been editing for 2 years. I know editing, I can write scripts, I have all these skill sets. He just came out and said, can I edit a video for you guys? And we weren't at a spot where we could pay an editor, so we were just like,
we weren't looking for a fourth person.
We weren't like financially trying to spend money on an editor. We were kind of struggling at the time. And Mike was just like, I will literally do it for free. I just want to make something, and you know, that's not to say
We're not
like
saying you should do videos.
Don't work for don't work for what exposure. Don't work for exposure.
Like, but he just said, I want to do this, and we explained to him. We made it very clear. We were like, yo, dude, we can't pay you. I don't want you to think we can. Yada yada yada. But what ended up happening was Mike edited the video, and I remember that was one of the earlier ones that I had voiced on the channel, and it absolutely knocked my socks off.
It was phenomenal.
I watched that, and I was like,
that bug-eyed Miyamoto running at the bottom of the screen is still like one of the funniest.
Yeah, there were a couple bits in that video that I remember fondly, just because of the jokes that he was able to edit in there. And so something like that, he knocked our socks off, and immediately we were like, okay, we got to start paying this guy to edit videos. And like, so then we made room in our budget in order to keep him on board, and then
like not full time, but we were just
we need to be able to do like,
we need to be able to at least do like 1 video a month for this guy.
Because
he's too good to not.
Exactly. And so over the course of time, then we were like, okay, write a script for us. Okay, now write 2 scripts a month for us.
No.
And then,
first he edited a video, then we're like, hey, you want to come to PAX?
Yeah, they were so I'm from Massachusetts. These guys are from Massachusetts too? We got any other? Oh, nice. This is my first time in Maryland.
Us too.
Yeah.
Me too, yeah.
Actually, this is our first time at MAGFest too. It's awesome. We love it.
Yeah.
By the way, thank you, MAGFest. MAGFest is awesome.
Before we leave, we're gonna kill them with the Colossus roar over there. They've been super annoying. So anyway. Yeah, so these guys are all from the West Coast. Tyler lives up in the Pacific Northwest, and these guys live in Southern California. So there was very little chance that we were going to be able to actually meet each other in person. And after that video came out, they were like, yeah, if you can make it out to Seattle, like, we'll just take you to PAX West, you know, but you got to get out here and figure it out. And I was like, okay, like, I guess I'll try and do that. And I actually managed to do it. And I spent about 5 hours in Seattle on a Friday night waiting for them to get in on the bus, just like walking around Seattle and being like really nervous, you know? Because like I had been watching Tree School for like 2.5 years. You know, you had what, 700,000 subscribers at the time?
Something,
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
And you know, that would be like, I mean, if it was like, if that was your guy, you know, I don't know if it's like Ant Dude or Kid Icarus or Gerard the Completionist or Jesse Cox or something. Like, I'm just waiting around for this guy to show up and be like, hey, I did that video for you. And, you know, but it ended up working out really well. And it's like, I guess, like, I don't know, I'm starting to sound like a boomer too now. Like,
well, yeah.
Magic and dreams, they can happen if you just work hard. But it's like, it is. It's working hard and not being ashamed of the work that you do and not being ashamed to show it to other people that you might think will judge you. And there are definitely people who work on YouTube who are not nice, but most of the people who do are. Like, we sit in our rooms alone for 90% of our lives.
Yeah, our office is Discord.
Yeah.
Like, so not even kidding.
So when somebody reaches out to us and is like, says something really nice, like when we get a Twitter DM that's like thought out and it's not just like, hey, it's like, it really means a lot.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm not alone today.
Yeah, because after a while, like, hundreds of thousands of people like turn into this number and you're like, yeah, I'm like doing this and all these people are watching, but it's like we never get to see them. That's why the cons are so great. You know, that's why the panels are so great, because we really get to see people. But it's like, once you decide that you really want to do it and you try the YouTube thing out, I definitely recommend trying to find somebody that knows what they're doing and offering what you can to them and seeing what they can offer back in return. I wanted my video to be seen by people. That's all I cared about. Like, I didn't care about money, I didn't care about my time at that time, because I was killing myself for nothing on my own channel. I wasn't making any money, and nobody was seeing my content. So I wanted somebody to see my video, and when I put out the Kirby video with you guys, it got like 250,000 views.
Yeah.
And it was like, me and my girlfriend were sitting in my room and just like watching it, reloading, be like, oh, it's like 5,000 views. Oh, it's like 5,000 more views. And like, you know, it just never happened before. So it's like, if that's the kind of thing that exhilarates you, if you really like entertaining people, if you really want to like show the world what you can do, there are still ways to do that without having to absolutely like murder your time and your life.
Yeah.
Or having to do it all yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
like we have another friend who like he was doing YouTube but he couldn't do it full time because he didn't make enough. Now he works for Gerard the Completionist.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Bradley works for Gerard now.
I mean, all of Gerard's crew. I don't know. You guys know Gerard the Completionist? He's like the nicest guy on YouTube. Yeah. All right.
He's literally YouTube dad.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, anytime we have a problem, we're like, Gerard. Yeah, like most of the people that work for Gerard are not other YouTubers. I mean, obviously you have Alex Faciani and Kelly, but like Pat and Ted, who are like the nicest guys in the world, they're just dudes from Minnesota who moved to LA and just like ended up working with the Completionist.
Yeah, because they reached out.
Yeah, that could be you.
Yeah.
You could be from Minnesota.
So I think now's a good time to start taking a couple questions.
Yeah. Let's take questions.
So before we do that, if you do have like more in-depth questions, or like if you want to know like what equipment we use or what software we use, stuff like that, you can do it now or do it at the end too.
Yeah. No,
like we'll be here the entire weekend.
Yeah. Sure. If you find us.
So yeah, there's a microphone. You guys can start. Doing
Line
your thing.
up.
Or just yell at us.
Or,
I would yell at you, but you know.
Okay.
We can't see your lips. This is going to be interesting.
I'll enunciate very clearly.
Thank you.
I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. So when you're talking about finding subreddits, I've considered that before myself, but it feels like an asshole move. How do you get past that asshole wall?
It's kind of like, I haven't reached out. Oh yeah. The question was, how do you not feel like an asshole when you're reaching out to, people who have these channels, essentially?
Mm-hmm.
How do you not feel like an asshole when you're reaching out, being like, hey, check out my stuff. It's really good. I hope. Tell me if I can do better and how. A lot of creators are like, yeah, I've been there. Like we're still people, We all like, oh man, I know exactly what you're going through right now. And at least for me, when Mike reached out, like, Grant, did you think he was being an asshole?
No, not at all.
Yeah, like we're very much like, yeah, we get that, and we are very willing to help because we know it's hard and it's not getting easier. YouTube's not making it easier for people to start on their own.
Yeah. Especially if it's a well thought out message that's like, it says something about who you're reaching out to, and it's not just something that you've copy pasted to 500 different people. You are going to encounter people that don't give you the time of day, and that
PewDiePie's not going to respond.
Don't worry about that. No interest.
So like, people are assholes. Some people
not that PewDiePie's an asshole. He's just not going to respond.
But like, some people aren't going to want to even respond to you. Other people are going to take that and run with it and give you an opportunity, and then at that point it's on you to capitalize on the opportunity.
And some people might not respond for like a month.
That's true.
Yeah, there are creators that like, they're just like, yeah, I saw it and then I got called in to do something else and then I forgot for like 2 months. But here's what you can do.
Also know that when you are on the internet, there is a certain level of anonymity, so you can make. Like, I certainly didn't talk to Grant in that email the way that I talk to him now. You know what I mean?
Mike's saying to lie.
Yeah. No,
lie about who you really are.
Just be professional.
Yeah,
because
be professional.
It's a business, and I think
spell the person's name right. That's a good start.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. We get a lot of emails where people don't spell our names right, or it's just like hello, and I'm like, well, okay, so this is just a generic.
The amount
message.
of times people have spelled treacicle wrong, like you would not understand how many messages we've gotten with like tree cycle.
Yeah.
Like-
Testicle.
So you're
People
inferring that I should
Testicles are
write
really
Mike a
popular
message
one.
and be like MYKKYKE.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm the type of person who'd answer that. I answer everything that people send.
But yeah, it's just,
as
you know-
long as it doesn't say hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it starts with hi, my name is blah blah blah, I'm in. I'm reading your message.
My
so.
favorite one is when they say hey and you just don't say anything and it's like, you there?
Oh yeah, that one. Like mom.
Yeah.
So let's go on to the next one.
Not to double up, but I was actually more pointing towards the subreddits, though, because I know that in some subreddits, they'll be like,
I have
you are banned.
Yeah, real quick, I'll answer that. Just very practically, I would recommend being active in those subreddits before actually posting. Like prepare for your video release by being active in the community, and then when you do post it, kind of like. It's a similar idea to when you're emailing a YouTuber or something. Just like, talk about your experience with the community and then like, hey, this is something that I think you guys would really like. I've worked really hard on it. It would mean a lot if you guys checked it out or just give it a try, something like that.
Also, I recommend the NewTubers subreddit. That's one of the places that I got started, and I eventually met the guy who owns it. And that is a super helpful place, and it's been fixed and it's heavily modded, so it's not the Wild West place that it was before. Definitely check out NewTubers, and I'll be doing some AMAs there soon as well. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Hey, I don't know offhand if you guys practice this much. I was curious about asking for viewer feedback as a creator in your videos, like whether it's asking for viewers to read drafts of your scripts or even like thumbnails, whatever it is. How do you guys feel about asking your audience for feedback on different aspects of your content? Because like I'm in a couple Discord communities for YouTubers I follow, and there's almost a weird set of expectations sometimes, right? Like, oh, if I'm in this Discord, am I a bad fan if I don't do that? And then also as a creator, I have a small channel. As a creator, am I imposing those expectations on people who do watch my stuff if I
That's
do
a
that?
really good
That was
question.
a great question.
Yeah.
I think the first thing that comes to my mind is frustration. Right?
Here's the thing, right? Is that if you ask your audience, you're like, let's say you do like a Twitter poll or something, right? And you're like, would you rather have a Mario video or a Sonic video? And they're like, we'd rather have a Sonic video. And that Sonic video underperforms. You're like, what the fuck?
So
I just asked you, and you didn't do it.
I've literally had that happen to me.
So are you talking specifics here, or are you
not
talking
specifics, but I mean the poll thing's good. Like I've done a poll for what game to cover in a series I do, and then that video did not do well at all. It's like one of my worst videos. But also script stuff, whatever, I don't know, however it manifests.
So the joke that we kind of tell each other is that nobody knows what they want until they get it.
Right.
So you can show somebody 3 very different thumbnails, and they could tell you that they like choice A, but they would never actually click on choice A.
It's just of those 3, they like that one the most.
Yeah, or so it's a very mixed bag. You gotta, with stuff like that, you still, as the creator, you kind of have to go with your own gut. Take everything
with a grain of salt.
Thank you.
Yep.
Take everything with a grain of salt.
We're married, I told you.
Yeah. You wanna give your personal
Yeah. So, and as far as like feedback, we always get YouTube comments. So we're always getting that stream of lovely information. So
he's a beta cuck.
That's crazy.
People say all kinds of nice things. But yeah, like as far as like. Are you asking like if you wanted to give a creator feedback or just how?
No,
like how would you
as
do
a
it?
creator, like what kinds of feedback? I don't know. I guess are strange to ask for, right? Because like I mentioned on one particular Discord, I have a creator who has a Discord who pretty much every video he writes, he will put a draft of the script for that video in the Discord for the people in there.
Okay.
And something about that has always felt strange to me, and I don't really know why. Like it almost feels like he's asking us to crowdsource feedback on the video a little too much.
This is kind of interesting because on our Bonsai Pop Patreon, we do script meetings and we give the script to our patrons also. Yeah. And at least the way that we thought about it is like, if you're in the patron, which is probably the same as like, if you're in this Discord, you're probably interested enough that you'd like to see it. Sure. And that's how we saw it.
Yeah.
We see it as additional additional content.
Sure.
Yeah.
We
right.
give it to them afterwards, though. We don't ask for their their input.
So
Well, we do sometimes with thumbnails.
Yeah. They're like,
Yeah.
why isn't there as much dragon made? We need more dragon made.
We're getting to it. Yeah. It's gonna happen.
So I would recommend getting feedback where you can.
Yeah.
But it's really you just have to be prepared for the fact that not everybody actually knows what's kind of going on behind the scenes, and they might not know what performs best. So in terms of a YouTube script, sometimes how you would write it from point A to point Z in terms of a thesis and then body paragraphs and a conclusion is not necessarily how you would want to write it, like you would write a college essay, because on YouTube you want to grab the viewer's attention in those first like 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds, especially, you know, up to a minute.
The first seconds.
Yeah, you really gotta snag them. And so people might give you feedback, for instance, hey, this reads a little weird because it's not linear like I would expect a script should be. But you know behind
Yeah.
the scenes, you kind of gotta format it a certain way.
Or intonation that'll make things sound different than they read. Yeah.
Exactly.
Basically, the answer is really constructive criticism can be very helpful, but you still got to do you.
Right.
We made the big mistake early on of being like, let's let our patrons choose what our next video is going to be, and
We nixed that real quick.
because that's how we ended up with with Big Boss, the story you never knew, 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, Metal Gear.
When none of us had played the Metal Gear series.
I wasn't on the channel. I played Metal Gear. Don't let me in with you.
Yeah. So,
but yeah.
you can definitely ask, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to do what they say.
You're not beholden to it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, that's a great idea. Maybe I'll do that next time.
Also
or maybe
know-
I'll take part of that idea.
Yeah. Real quickly. Also, just know that like for the amount of people that reply, like it takes a special kind of person to reply. So remember that the people that are going to give you feedback are the same people that are going to give you YouTube comments.
Fair enough.
Don't
Thank you
always
guys.
want to trust it.
Yeah, no, that's a really good answer. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
What's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going? Just a quick question. I know all 4 of you are creators, obviously, YouTube.
We hope so.
But you know, if you create a video, you know, even with the collaborative, you are considered a creator. But my question is, you know, in doing videos, whether it's editing, managing, even going through behind the scenes aspect, how do you maintain that passion? Because in any business or any creative aspirations, there's always peaks and there's valleys. How do y'all maintain that?
So the question was, in any creative venture that you're taking, there's always peaks and valleys with the amount of passion that you kind of have behind.
How do you keep
behind the work.
motivated?
How do you keep? Why don't you take this one?
Yeah, Grant.
This
Take
is
it.
kind of the perfect question for me here. So yeah, we've been doing this for 5 years, and I have absolutely dealt with the issue of maintaining like a passion and like a reason to do this at times. The main thing I would recommend is like don't forget why you did it in the first place, why you're doing this in the first place. If you're in a place where you don't even like making videos anymore, or whatever it is that you're creating, whatever kind of art you're creating, then take a step back, like even stop for a little while. I wound up having to take a vacation because I just had to stop thinking about it. And then kind of like I also worked a lot, and you know, I don't know your life obviously, but for me, I was having some mental health issues that were absolutely getting in the way, and I started really prioritizing just my mental health. And then kind of as my clarity and I was more excited to wake up in the morning in general came back, then I would kind of like start to realize, that creative spark would come back. And like I guess like cultivate your happiness is just a big thing, and it's just much easier to be creative when you're in a positive mind space versus a negative one. I know the angsty artist has like a lot of people talk about the angsty miserable artist a lot, but I think that's not maintainable, and I don't think it's a useful place to stay very long. So yeah, that's like cultivate your happiness, dude. Yeah, like.
For me, it's just mania, more or less, you know? I go through a weekly roller coaster ride where I wake up on Monday and I'm like, I gotta write a script. What am I gonna write it on? And then I come up with it, I'm like, all right. And then I get writing, I'm like, I like writing now. This feels really good. Get my script done. And then, you know, once that's done, then it's like, oh, I gotta edit the script. And I go and I edit the script. I'm like, all right, this isn't that bad. And then afterwards, like, oh, I gotta do the voiceover. I don't like doing the voice, and you know, so it's a lot of like, I love what I do, but there's definitely a lot of stress that comes with it, and I don't know how healthy it is. because as YouTubers, we're professional gamblers, right? There's a certain amount of cards that we can stack in our hand. At the end of the week, when we put our video out, it's a roll of the dice. You never know how it's going to do, and you hope that you win big. You know, and stacking your bets helps you maintain, you know, your money. You're going to lose some, you're going to win some back, you're going to lose some, then every once in a while you hit a jackpot. But you kind of got to be a little bit of an angsty artist, I think.
Sure. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I did want to say just another interjection here. A really easy way to reinvigorate passion, I find, is just to find things that you really like to watch already. Like if you watch some anime that you're really into and you're like, oh my God, that was amazing, or like a book that you love, then like I just find it inspires me to want to create as well.
Yeah, one of our most common questions when we're at the beginning of a week, we have a Monday meeting where we're like, what are we doing this week? Is, hey Grant, what do you want to do? What are you interested in? The same thing with Mike. It's like, hey Mike, what anime did you watch recently? You want to do something on that? Because like, if you're interested in something, it makes it a lot easier to write on it. It makes it a lot easier to edit it.
And as you develop an audience, pigeonholing isn't the right word, but you kind of get you get trapped into a corner, and people expect a certain type of video from you. And so we actually had a channel midlife crisis, so to speak, where we just kind of rebelled and we started creating videos that really resonated with us a lot more.
Love the story you never knew.
The story you never knew.
Shrek's Love the Story You Never Knew. That was
and things that our audience wouldn't really watch. And not that
didn't.
many. Yeah, and they did.
Videos did all right.
Like, and so while financially that brought on a lot more stress, creatively we kind of needed that outlet to get that spark back, because we all were losing that spark.
Yeah, and now we're kind of like, okay, we're feeling pretty good. Now we can sort of get back on track and be like, what can we make that will keep us motivated, that will still make the audience happy, and we can find that happy medium.
So if you could be self-aware enough to kind of dig, it's hard to look yourself in the mirror and say, this
like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah. Like this is what I'm doing, but it's not bringing me as much happiness. Sometimes you need to take a step back and take a break or do something different. And then if you still really love what you're doing to begin with, you'll find your way back there.
And one of my last pieces of advice before we move on to the next one, one of my favorite things to do if I'm like not feeling good, besides just remembering that my mom made me angry and then proving her wrong. She was like, you'll never be able to work for yourself. And I'm like, really? But anyway, I go back and I think about which videos I've made that made me laugh the most and which ones made me the happiest when they came out. And I just rewatch those videos. And I rewatch this, I'm like, that was a really good joke. That was really funny. And then I'm like really happy. And I'm like, I want to make that again, but with this. And then I go and do that.
It helps to make what you want to see.
Yeah, exactly. Like
all I do is watch my own content.
We did a panel earlier where we redid part of our Goose video. Yeah. And we were like watching it. We're all like up on stage like giggling, trying not to like giggle into the mics.
And nobody in the audience was laughing at all.
No, there was like 2 people laughing. Untitled Goose Game, the story you never knew.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that question. That's a good one.
Man.
Yeah. Just not a question. I was just asking you that because normally I watch YouTube videos and a lot of them, as you know, they just flame out. So
yeah.
We're trying not to.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work.
It's not a race.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Much appreciated.
Thank you. Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
So I was thinking about this since you guys were talking about YouTube comments earlier, and obviously anyone who spent more than 3 seconds on YouTube knows that the comments section is generally a cesspool of stupidity and bullshit. And that gets a lot worse the bigger the channel gets. So my question is, given the fact that you guys have a fairly large channel now with almost 1 million subscribers, do you find literally any value in reading your comments at all? And if the answer is no, was that answer different when you were less successful?
I would say we do find value in the comments. When we were smaller, we definitely found more value in the comments, for sure.
Like Bonsai Pop's comment section,
amazing.
So good.
It's so full of positivity, but also our audience is like 25 to 35 demographic, so that's probably why.
It also helps.
Yeah.
As
But yeah,
opposed to like
even
16 to 21, right?
Huh?
As opposed to like 16 to 21.
As opposed to 11-year-olds.
Yeah.
But, you know,
no,
who just got their
13
first
plus, Mike. We're 13 plus.
Yeah. We just got their first keyboard and learned the F word.
If you have an ego, comments will put your ego in check, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I remember the first video because Grant is the main host on Tree School, the first video that I did, the comment section wasn't a pretty sight.
For Ryan, it was really funny.
He was the new guy.
Like, holy cow.
Why does he always sound like he's yawning?
Yeah, so there was like, it was bad. But the thing is, at this point, I did completely take a step back personally. I'd be curious to hear what you have to say, but I took a complete step back from reading them for a while because they were really bad. And even when you get 70, 80% good comments, the 20, like I'm still human. I get 10 comments telling me to jump off a bridge. It doesn't feel good. Like, and it still resonates with you. Yeah, it stands out, especially when they hold true.
He's also super easily manipulated, so we've had to pull him off those bridges like a lot.
So, metaphorical bridge.
They keep telling me to do it.
So I guess what it comes down to is being able to, I said earlier, take it with a grain of salt, and also try and differentiate the comments that are just trying to hurt versus the comments that are just trying to actually provide you with constructive criticism, or even just the people that are positive that are like, I'm typing out this well thought out comment about how awesome you are because I'm just a nice person. And so few and far between are the constructive criticism comments. Those comments are the ones that are really, really, really helpful.
Diamond in the rough.
Yeah, they're like, because they will actually push your content in the right direction.
What about you though, Grant?
Yeah.
We have what, 10 minutes?
Yeah. So
Okay.
one
Yeah,
last. We'll get through these last few questions pretty quick. So one last thing for this is I read comments for like the first day or two because that's when our subscribers are watching. After that, and it's just kind of like trickling out into YouTube maybe. I don't really read them. It's not worth the potential shot to my ego. But yes, I find value in the comments from people who have been watching our stuff for a while, and like I kind of trust their opinion more. I recognize some of the accounts, and yeah, stuff like that.
I read all the comments always,
Yeah, you
and
do.
I report them back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
Mike is
the
our
ones.
filter.
Yeah.
For comments.
I really liked the game theory plus autism. We got that for a long time.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
So, I'm sorry, I completely lost my train
It's all
of
good.
thought.
Love your onesie.
Okay.
Totally cool. Yes, what is it?
So, my question is,
Oh no,
going into
no! What's your onesie?
Oh, my onesie? It's a hedgehog.
Oh, it's adorable.
Sweet.
It's adorable.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, obviously, like with the evolution of YouTube and how it's going nowadays, I was also at the panel earlier on with how important audio has become and like editing and music or different effects to make things pop. Do you have any softwares that you would recommend personally for video editing or different places that you could go to for royalty-free music?
Yeah. So music, we use Epidemic Sound. They have great stuff. You can get a personal subscription for $15 a month, and it's super easy to search their library. Would recommend. As far as software, we use the Adobe suite, so Adobe Premiere for editing the videos, Adobe Audition for editing our audio. We also use Photoshop for editing images. If you're on
After Effects.
Making memes.
and After Effects, yeah, for like kind of.
It turns out like After Effects can make your life a lot easier once you know how to use it.
I would learn Premiere before you start messing with After.
No, totally.
Those are kind of pay to play type of things. Audacity.
Audacity.
We haven't done any audio leveling or anything with Audacity, but I've heard that they have great tools, and that's a free software.
Kedikarus still uses it.
Yeah, we were talking to Kedikarus last night.
Still use Audacity, dude.
Also cheap. Humble Bundle a lot of times has editing bundles.
Yes.
And so I think last year they had a really good bundle with
like
Sony Vegas. Oh, a week ago.
There you go. Sony Vegas is completely professional editing software. Again, Kedikarus still uses Sony Vegas, and he is, as far like, his editing is extremely nuanced and technical. He's a very, very good editor, and that's all done in Sony Vegas. So cheaper option, and it's not a subscription.
Yeah, we would recommend the Adobe Suite, but that's because you recommend what you use, what you're accustomed to.
Right.
But it's definitely a more expensive option, and
don't take anything for free other than Audacity, though.
Yeah, Audacity.
What about royalty-free music, Mike?
Royalty-free music?
Where would you find it for free?
I would check on YouTube. And then download it with one of the YouTube to MP3 downloaders. Use virus protection.
There's some sketchy ones out there.
There is. But the thing about using YouTube royalty-free music is that a lot of it isn't actually royalty-free. So you have to go into the description and make sure that nobody's messing with you and because they'll have to have like copyright blah blah blah. If you see copyright blah 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 in there, you can't use that song. Epidemic Sounds isn't free. That's a subscription.
Yeah. Right.
As far as other royalty-free music, you can dive into. Again, they have websites for just royalty-free music. Usually, like, look for like royalty-free jazz, royalty-free funk, royalty-free whatever.
Kevin McLeod, MCLE.
Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah, I don't know how to spell it, but yeah, like we were using him for years. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yep, thank you.
What's going on, man?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
Good.
Doing well.
Good. So I do sports content on my channel primarily. And I do it as if I were doing it live at a game because I'm an aspiring sports commentator as well.
Can you take a little step closer?
Sure. Better?
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's a lot better.
I was saying that I do sports content on my channel, and I do it like I was doing it live because that's what I actually do. I'm an aspiring sports commentator as well.
Nice.
And my question is for thumbnails. What advice would you have for getting eye-catching thumbnails for sports content?
Oh.
So what's an example of like a game that do you just cover like games in general?
So right now it's mostly Madden 20 on the channel.
Okay.
I have a Ravens franchise going on right now. What I currently do, for instance, is if I see a big play or a juke or something that happens during the game, I'll go, oh, I like that, and I'll grab a screenshot of it. So for instance, there is a celebration in one of my last videos where Mark Andrews is celebrating and his arms are like this. So I'm like, all right, cool, I like that. Snapshot it, send it to my editor, that's thumbnail. Right. But I don't know if that's good enough or if I can do things better.
Let's repeat the question first.
Okay, so the question is how to make good thumbnails, but in this case specifically with sports gaming entertainment, and you do commentary on the sports gaming entertainment.
Yes.
So thumbnails, again, we could do a 5-hour panel on thumbnails.
We will literally try to make a thumbnail sometimes for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Before we get it right.
Thumbnails are no joke. So thumbnails, in fact, are the most important part of your marketing, period.
That's what I was hoping my editor,
they're going to see it before they see the title. Sometimes they don't even look at the title. They'll just look at the thumbnail and be like, that looks good. So do you use any editing software for Photoshop or anything like that?
Actually, no. My editor, she does all of that stuff for me, honestly. I got really lucky that I found an editor. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so... I mean, Tyler, you've been doing the most of our thumbnails. You want to give a brief explanation of that hell?
Thumbnails are really interesting because typically what you want to do is you want to have, like, what we do typically is you have a face in the thumbnail, something that people can recognize, that they'll be like, oh, if I'm doing a Mario video, that's Mario. I like Mario. I'm going to click on that video. And then if you can, you figure out a way to make it represent that video in some way. So like we did a Mario 64, the story you never knew. So I had Mario with the wing cap flying in the air. It's like, that's pretty Mario 64, so hopefully you can catch that. So it's something that will distinguish your video from your other videos, because if you're doing Madden multiple times, you want it to be different every single time.
Right.
And then, typically a simple background that is eye-catching but contrasts with your forefront image.
Use a color wheel.
Yeah, using your color wheel. So it's like, if you have a red guy in the front, maybe use a dark green in the back. That way you have this really nice contrast, something like that.
Would you recommend using like a color back, like a purple background, and then maybe a player image from in-game or something like that?
With that, I'd have to say it kind of depends on what you're going for exactly, because you know the thumbnail and the title, like the thumbnail, the title, what you're trying to sell goes kind of hand in hand. So if you're trying to hit home on like a ridiculous celebration, you want to catch the celebration like while it's happening. Like, you know, if they're doing something crazy, whatever they're doing, like you want to catch that moment. And the rule of thumb, as Tyler mentioned, is like people are attracted to other people. And so if you have a face that's kind of looking at you, that's kind of what we tend to go for, is a face that's almost looking out at the screen, because it catches your eye and it makes you stop for a second. So if you, with Madden, obviously there's helmets, you don't quite have that same feel.
Right.
But
that's hard.
Yeah,
That's
it's a lot
really
harder
hard.
in designing a thumbnail, but just off the top of my head, I'd think try and hit home what you're trying to go for. So mid-dance, and then try and zoom in and get a high-res image and zoom into that. If you're
honestly,
if the player broke somebody's ankles, get that moment.
The other thing I might do, like, I don't know if you could do this, but like if you know who the player is that did it in the game, I'd find the actual image of them celebrating and put that in the thumbnail.
Yeah, that could work.
Do you show your face?
I considered that.
Do you show your face in the video?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's
so,
just commentary. I do like almost a radio style of commentary.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to say, if you were doing something where, like, every once in a while it switched back to you and you had a green screen behind you and you had the game playing in the background, you were in a suit, like something like that, and you were doing a little bit of commentary with, like, a fake headset on or something like that, that would be the best thing to put in that thumbnail. It would be your face here and then have the game going on over here.
Because that really drives home what you're doing. You are, you know, doing the commentary on what's going on, and this is what's going on. It's really cool. You want to see it.
And simple is good.
Yeah,
especially in a game like football, like Madden, where there's a lot of characters, there's a lot of moving pieces. You want simplicity so that the person can look at it at a half-second glance and know exactly what you're going for. So
that was my thought
in your
process
character,
too, yeah.
in your instance, just saying a word, like maybe a one-word draw, like, or you know, something like that too can work. You can really utilize words to your advantage.
And just other like really quick like tool or tips, like if you have two images, the image that's more important, put it on the left. That's what people see first, because we read left to right. If you have text, typically put it on the left too, because the right, when a thumbnail, you have that little like timestamp on it. It'll cover up some of the text, stuff like that.
Yeah. It's all like a lot of YouTube stuff is just like weird psychology and
it really is.
Yeah, put the big image on the left because people read left to right. Yeah, it's like
it makes sense when you say it, but I would never have thought about it when we started.
Yeah, I just started. I'm like 4 months into it. Almost at 100 subscribers, so I'm trying to figure things out as I go along. So.
Yeah, keep going.
Feel free to send us a thumbnail that you're working on.
I can show you guys some after we get done. So.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We got like 3 minutes left.
Yeah, so you know, if it looks like there's no more questions, if you guys want to come talk to us, if you have any specific questions, feel free. We'll be hanging out for a little while.
Otherwise, we have a panel tomorrow at 4:30. It's PC versus console. It says us, but we're gonna get like as many friends as we have here to be up here with us.
Expect a bunch of YouTube guest stars with us.
So yeah, we're gonna try to get like Ant Dude and Kid Icarus and like Balrog.
Maybe even Gilly the Kid. He'll be up here.
And maybe Boundary Break.
Boundary Break. Yeah, it's all being recorded now. So if they don't show up,
that'll be really awkward.
Yeah, it'll be really awkward.
We've been talking to them.
They seem into it. We're gonna have a war, basically.
So yeah, thank you everybody. I hope this was helpful, and you know, have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.